Hello, this is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. Please hit that like button, share the video, and subscribe. Well, today was the first day of Tyler Robinson's preliminary hearing. Just objection after objection. Every exhibit had to be ruled on, etc. And they just started getting to the point where they were going to put some exhibits out there, but then the state had altered some by zooming in, etc. And I always hate when people zoom in on stuff, but there really isn't anything wrong with that if you're just trying to zoom in on what you're focusing on. Okay, but you also have to probably provide the raw footage as well so that the defense can look at any other angles they might want to look at. Okay, but they did put out video of Tyler Robinson's vehicle when it was parked, his Dodge Challenger, when it was parked right here across from 680 West 925 South. It was actually parked across the street from there. So if you go down here, this is where the surveillance shot was kind of like about like this, and his car was parked right there next to this tree. But let's take a look at this first. So I went to the wooded area when I went there in October, all right, unlike a lot of the YouTubers that you're watching out there. So I went there in October, and this is the wooded area right here. Like if I just go back a little bit further, I'll try to back up where I'm sort of back into the woods again. So the wooded area is right over here where Tyler Robinson put the rifle, all right? And then if we move forward here, there's a fence right there. And then I come around the corner, and then I follow this fence up. And then there's a red cone right there, but I just continue moving up. At some point, I'll show you where I made it to. I didn't go all the way to the very top, but, well, pretty close. I went to the top of the steps anyways. I just didn't go into the property. So here we are right there. Now look, when you turn right, there's a grassy area and a wall right there. Okay, so where I just went was from down here. There's this fence right there. So I was right there, and I went like this up this fence line. And then, see, there's the grassy area and the wall right there. So I'm standing approximately right here, okay? So I'll put a pin where I approximately made it to. Where I made it. All right there. Okay, so I was about right there. So let's go to this new video that was put out today. It shows his vehicle and 3 different clips. And it's really interesting. It's very pixelated, and sometimes you lose shapes and so forth as they're moving, but you can definitely make it out. Now, if you're going to watch Candace Owens or the other idiots out there, they're going to tell you that, oh, look at, they're editing it because you can't see this. And it's just, people's brains don't work. All right, I'm just telling you.
Okay, I just wanted to see.
So, while this was playing in court, it was at an angle, all right? It was at an angle. And so you have to make it wider than it was because it's shooting at like a 40-degree angle, 45-degree angle at the screen. So I made it about 177% wider than it showed on the screen. So let me turn off the audio here. Just because I'm talking when I recorded it. So you'll see eventually when this starts, there's a vehicle that's down the street here, and it starts driving down the road. And that is the Dodge Challenger, kind of a gray color. He referred to it silver. And then see that tree right there? In this instance, he pulls just in front of the tree, right there, a full car length, and that's almost exactly where I had guessed he parked. Here's that tree that we were just looking at right there, and I have him parked right along right there. Okay, and there's that tree. So just keep that in mind. There's the tree. Going back to this. Now if we zoom in, let's take a look at it. So he pulls up, lights are off, but I guess this only filmed like 10-second clips. There he is getting out of the car. Now watch here, you see his shoes moving along, but you can't really make him out really well while he's walking because it's dark, but you can kind of see vague And then right there, boom. Did you see that? Watch when he walks by the window there. So he pulls up. And then I'll back it up a little bit and go like this. Right there. See how he walked right to left past that window. And that's the direction he came. Okay, so I'm just playing that. Now let's move forward in the video to right here. Now watch this. See that same window? See how he walks back to the vehicle. Now, we don't know what the time frame is, but he makes his way back to the car, and then eventually you see his body show up on the driver's side, and you'll see here in just a second. Right there. See how there's blurriness right there, and you can see sort of a shape there, and then the door opens up, and then he gets in the car, and then I think another clip starts up where he turns on the car. So see that? His car's turned on, and then he's actually going to drive away at this point. And there he goes. See that? So he drove away. Now, what's interesting about this is if we go up here, when the car was parked there and he went this direction, it's assumed that he was trying to go get his gun and, the rifle that was wrapped in a towel in the wooded area. Now watch how this works. If he just came around here like this and then went around in this direction, look where I made it to. So where I was just showing you, I was right here. He was right there walking this direction. So all he had to do was go down here, down the steps, and go retrieve his rifle that was in the woods over here. Okay, now during this preliminary hearing, we'll likely find out where his rifle was, and they'll probably compare it to where he parked the car, which is, it's going to be just really interesting. Hopefully we get to see those videos. Now, another thing that was mentioned in this hearing was that they have him on campus 4 times. Okay, now I believe that they also said this one time late at night. So the 4 times are, let me tell you what they're going to be. They are going to be when he showed up at the parking garage at 8:28 after his vehicle. So I made 2 videos on this, part 1 and 2. They're in the video section of my channel. I'll put them as links in this video. You got to go watch part 1 and 2. It shows you everything you need to know. It'll show you the, it talks about the trip there at 8:28 in the morning. It talks about the dry run at about 10:15 or so when he makes it on the campus. And then the second video has the final run at around 11:45. It starts when he's walking on 800 South and then turns and then goes down the street where the TMZ video picks him up and another house picks him up. And then he goes through the tunnel on the campus and then ends up shooting Charlie Kirk. And then apparently they have him later in the evening back on campus. Okay, so the time frames are going to be this 8:28. He goes into the parking garage. That's number 1. And then he gets back to the car at 9, into the garage at 9:24, and then drives away at 9:32. And then we have him over here at, maybe he parked the car at 9:40 after driving away at 9:32. And then he changed clothes. And then at 9:57, I mean, isn't that amazing? Only 25 minutes after he left at the garage, he's coming back again. Right? He's got the maroon shirt on, the shorts, etc., and he's got the backpack on, and now he's doing a dry run. He walks all the way around like this, comes around, goes down this street, and he ends up walking by this house right here, and then likely went back onto campus again for the dry run. Then eventually he exits, leaves the campus, and then I think he moves his Dodge Challenger, perhaps over up into this area up here. There's a vehicle on aerial footage that was more recently put out there that it was right there. And that's, I don't know 100% that that's his vehicle, but it sure as hell looks like it. And then from there, after he leaves the campus on foot, let's just say he was on campus till 11 or so, and then he comes back over here. And then eventually at 11:45, he's walking this direction, now with jeans on, the dark shirt, the hat, the backpack and the gun inside of his pants. And he's walking that direction. Now, that location where it's possible that his car was right here. Now, if you look at it, it's a pretty good spot. There's a fence there, and if he changed on the passenger side of the vehicle, nobody over there would see anything, and you'd be able to see anybody coming from there, and there's no surveillance footage or cameras or anything like that that could be filming him do that, as far as we know. Although maybe if this house has a camera, it would show the car. You just wouldn't know what he was doing because you wouldn't see it. Okay, but that might be where he parked, and then after he parked there, he would have walked down this direction, just like this. So from there, down, across the street, and then he walked down here, turned left onto the street where TMZ, they had the camera footage from that house, and then walks this direction, and then again goes into the parking garage after going through the tunnel, up into the parking garage, and then exits the parking garage, and then walks alongside this building over here. And I think we might get to see all of this stuff tomorrow because they have over 5 minutes of video of him moving around on campus. And then after he goes over here, he walks in front of the building. And then inside, about 13 minutes later, I think that he likely went inside, came out these doors here, and then went over here and then watched from right here to see when Charlie Kirk made it onto the stage. Because believe it or not, from just off to the side right there, you can literally see the stage, and then you'd know that if Charlie Kirk was speaking or not. Then once he started speaking, if you notice the timing of all this, once he started speaking, that's when he turned around and headed up and went up onto the roof right here, and he got up there at, it was 12:15, right? And then he stepped over the wall at 12:17. But then he didn't get up and start running until 12:22, and then the shot was taken at 12:23, either 27, 28, or 29. It's right in, like, within a 2-second window there, but I have it at like 12:23, 28, and then almost 29. All right, and then after that, he gets up and runs this direction around, jumps off, runs over across into the woods over here. But yeah, it was a mildly interesting day on some of the information, but a lot of it was just the defense team objecting to every single thing. It's just ridiculous, and it seemed like the prosecution wasn't as prepared on a couple elements as they should have been. But it was an interesting day, I can say that. And if you really want to have it covered where you're getting exhibits that I can show you, like during that first part of the day when they weren't showing the exhibits, and they should have, actually, I pulled it up on my computer and showed every single person that was watching exactly what they were talking about. And I have 360-degree videos. I have regular videos. I have the whole thing. Okay, I went there. And if you want the best coverage of this case, it's on my channel. All right? So thank you all very much for watching. Please hit that like button for me. I'd really appreciate it. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.